Muslims, okay, comes from the same rules, okay, in the Old Testament. Those are you need to know those kind of examples. You can't just say it's a food taboo. You got to know why it's a food taboo. Where is the food taboo? All right, architecture. You should be your textbook is filled. Which textbook do y'all use? The Rubenstein, DeBlay. Use DeBlay. Okay, that book. I use that book too. It is filled with pictures of pagodas and mosques and synagogues and churches. It's got all this. That's just religious architecture. If you see something that looks like a pagoda, you should be able to associate that. Oh, that's Asia. If you see a mosque, you should say, okay, that's Southwest Asia, the Middle East, and what's the most populous Muslim country? Oh, I heard it. No, Iraq, there's no one home there. There's only like 25 million people. Saudi Arabia, no one's at home. There's only about 25 million people. India's got a bunch of Muslims, but not near as much as Indonesia, thank you. 220 million Muslims there. Most of the countries we think of as like Saudi Arabia, there's no one there. There's only 25 million people there. Iraq, same thing. Iran's got a fair number. All right? And then land use. How do you use land? Every culture uses land very differently. Americans use land very differently than the Europeans, especially with regard to urban landscapes. You go to a city in Europe, what are you going to see in the center of the city? In every city, you're going to see these things. Tons of common space, green space, that's supposed to be used by everyone. In American cities, we really didn't have that concept, but we're getting to do more of that with new urbanism. Culture varies by region, cultural basis of each conflict, no examples. This is really important. I think this is coming, how colonialism, imperialism, and trade shaped a culture. Okay, there are countries today that deal in stuff that goes all the way back to colonialism, whether it's chocolate like Ghana, acculturation, assimilation, multiculturalism. And we're running out of time, so I'll get to this last one here. Political borders, boundaries, spatial relationships. There's a lot to talk about with that. Geopolitics, organic, heartland, Rimland, the theorists. I find that stuff really boring. People have been predicting it's going to be a question for years. I go over it with my students. It hasn't been a question yet, but it's still sitting out there on the course articulation. And so I think we have to be ready for it. Colonialism, imperialism, the spread of nationalism. We're seeing a lot of that today with the rise of Putin and Russia. Independence movements, democratization have changed the world map since World War II. It's important to know that the world map doesn't look anything like it did in 1945, which it didn't look like anything like it did in 1916. The maps can constantly changing. It's good to look at those old historical maps. Fall of communism, new independent states, and a new balance of power. This is one thing the United States is struggling with. In 1947, we had all the answers. We were the biggest kid on the block. But in 2017, we can't control everybody anymore. And it's led to some frustration in the United States, but this is what we've got to deal with, and so we need to be able to answer questions like this. Ethnic conflicts, can you name an ethnic conflict besides Israel and Palestine? India and Pakistan, so that's a clash of Indians and Pakistanis won't get you a point. Muslims and Hindus. Okay, you've got to drill down deeper into these conflicts. Being able to name it is not enough. Differing scales of government and local control. You've got to be able to understand that the Mansfield School District, what's the neighboring school district? Legacy? Arlington. Okay, Arlington is a neighboring school district. What does Arlington want? They want as many students as they can get. What does Mansfield want? They want the same thing. Do they ever bicker with each other? They do, whether you know it or not. Okay? So there's regional planning, which is what I was talking about before, where Mansfield and Arlington and Fort Worth all talk with each other and work with each other. But there's conflicts between them, and you need to understand these. In agriculture, sustainability, GMO, gender, green revolution, the negative consequences. Everybody knows that the Green Revolution produced more food and saved people from starving, but nobody talks about the negative effects, how it put women out of jobs, how it's created lots of debt in these countries because they have to buy certain seeds and irrigation equipment and fertilizers and pesticides and fungicides and all that kind of stuff. That's the best part, isn't it? Because you get to go home because you did the early session. Thank you guys, you've been really great.